Glass. A hard, usually clear, substance used, for example, for making windows and bottles. For example, a sheet, a pane of glass.
Glimpse.
Glimpse. A sight of somebody/something for a very short time, when you do not see the person or thing completely. For example, glimpse of somebody/something.
Glove.
Glove. A piece of clothing for the hand, made of wool, leather, etc. with separate parts for each finger and the thumb. For example, a pair of gloves.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Used when you are leaving somebody or when somebody else is leaving. For example, goodbye. It was great to meet you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Used when you are leaving somebody or when somebody else is leaving. For example, goodbye. It was great to meet you.
Govern.
Govern. To legally control a country or its people and be responsible for introducing new laws, organizing public services, etc. For example, the country is governed by elected representatives of the people. Governor. A person who is the official head of a country or region that is governed by another country. For example, the former governor of the colony.
Grab. To take or hold something with your hand suddenly or roughly. For example, grab somebody or something.
Grant. A sum of money that is given by the government or by another organization to be used for a particular purpose. For example, government/federal grants.
Grasp. A strong hold of somebody, something or control over somebody or something. For example, I grabbed him. Grasp. A strong hold of somebody, something or control over somebody or something. For example, I grabbed him.
Grateful. Feeling or showing thanks because somebody has done something kind for you or has done as you asked. For example, thank you for doing this. I really am so grateful. Greet. To say hello to somebody or to welcome them. For example, greet somebody.
Grind. To break or press something into very small pieces between two hard surfaces or using a special machine. For example, to grind coffee/corn.
Grip. To hold something tightly. For example, grip something.
Ground.
Ground. The solid surface of the earth. For example, on the ground.
Guerrilla. A member of a small group of soldiers who are not part of an official army and who fight against official soldiers, usually to try to change the government. For example, urban guerrillas equals those who fight in towns.
Guidance.
Guidance. Help or advice that is given to somebody, especially by somebody older or with more experience. For example, guidance for teachers on how to use video in the classroom.
Guide.
Guide. A person who shows other people the way to a place, especially somebody employed to show tourists around interesting places. For example, our tour guide showed us around the old town. Gut. The tube in the body through which food passes when it leaves the stomach. For example, it can take up to 72 hours for food to pass through the gut.
Hail. To describe something as being very good or special, especially in newspapers, etc. For example, be hailed as something.
Hair. the substance that looks like a mass of fine threads growing on a person's head. For example, she has long dark hair.
Halt. An act of stopping the movement or progress of somebody/something. For example, work came to a halt when the machine broke down. Halt. An act of stopping the movement or progress of somebody/something. For example, work came to a halt when the machine broke down.
Hand. The part of the body at the end of the arm, including the fingers and thumb. For example, Ian placed a hand on her shoulder. Hand. The part of the body at the end of the arm, including the fingers and thumb. For example, Ian placed a hand on her shoulder. Handful. The amount of something that can be held in one hand. For example, a handful of rice.
Handle.
Handle. The part of a door, window, etc. that you use to open it. For example, she turned the handle and opened the door.
Handling.
Handling. The way that somebody deals with or treats a situation, a person, an animal, etc. For example, I was impressed by his handling of the affair.
Handy. Easy to use or to do. For example, a handy little tool.
Harassment. The act of annoying or worrying somebody by putting pressure on them or saying or doing unpleasant things to them. For example, sexual/racial harassment. Harm. Damage or injury that is caused by a person or an event. For example, he would never frighten anyone or cause them any harm. Harm. Damage or injury that is caused by a person or an event. For example, he would never frighten anyone or cause them any harm.
Harmful. Causing damage or injury to somebody/something, especially to a person's health or to the environment. For example, the harmful effects of alcohol.
Harmony. A state of peaceful existence and agreement. For example, social/racial harmony.
Harvest. To cut and gather a crop, to catch a number of animals or fish to eat. For example, the nuts are ready to harvest in September.